Hey guys, my name's Becky. I've been a patient of Dr. Khan's now for just a little over 2 months. And the amazing results that I've had even in 2 months is worthy of a testimony. So I absolutely had to get on and record myself, letting everyone know the work and the amazingness of their office staff and everything that they do. Prior to meeting their staff, I was I wouldn't say I was in a bad way, but if we're looking back on where I was in a bad way. I am genetically thin. I've been lucky to not have to gain too much weight. So that being said, I ate fast food, I would say every day of the week, not always the same meal, but between breakfast, lunch, and dinner and or a snack, I had some fast food going in me. My boys play baseball, so we are at the ball field all the time. So convenience is key. I've never liked to cook. I think it is the most boring thing in the world. I could care less about it. I just want it to taste good. Food is just meant to keep you living, and you deal with it later. So that being said, about a little less than a year ago, end of last year, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. I had gone into the doctor saying that for the last 2 years, I am just really, really tired. My boys are 10 and 8. There's no reason why I should be feeling like I have newborns again. And so that was my biggest complaint, was even though I'm sleeping 8, 9, 10 hours a night, I still am dragging all the time. So that was my biggest thing that went in. I noticed that every few years I would gain a few pounds, but again, you're over 35, you feel like you had 2 kids, you feel like, that's just part of life, but you keep buying bigger clothes, but they're not significantly bigger, so you don't really think anything of it. I also, which I thought was completely unrelated, but recently found out that it's not. When I was about 16, I discovered that I had this very, very weird cold allergy. This cold allergy comes along when anything is cold, touches my skin, I break out in hives in that area until the skin warms back up and it itches and whatever. And it was just kind of something I dealt with. Over the last 5 to 7 years, it got worse. Initially, I'm originally born and raised in Wisconsin, so being allergic to cold is very dumb. I moved to Arizona, and in the last, like I said, 5 to 7 years, it's gotten worse. Air conditioning will bring it on. Gotten to the point where even if I was outside and sweating, the process of sweating and evaporating and making it cold actually would cause me to get small little hives, and my skin would get all itchy and I'd break out. The biggest issue, or the biggest concern that I had was about a year ago. I was holding just a cold bottle of water. It was out of the vending machine, so it was cold. It was not frozen. I held that against my skin for about a minute. And I ended up with a hive that was really, really bad. It ended up staying around for like a day and a half. And so really I've had issues where these hives would stay 15 minutes. Longest was maybe an hour. So this one was kind of scary. What the heck's going on? So I went to an endocrinologist. They found nodules on my thyroid, tested those. I have Hashimoto's for sure. That's what they tested. And my antibodies just really kept going up. They found antibodies, GAD65 antibodies, so they were worried that my pancreas is now being hurt and fair. So the initial thing that my doctor said was, you need to stop drinking soda, reduce your sugar. Well, if you ever looked in how much sugar is in a can of Coke, it's a lot. So reducing the 3 to 4 cans of soda I was drinking a day cut a significant amount of sugar out. Just cutting sugar out, I actually lost about 3, 4, 5 pounds, which was great. But I went to the doctor and I ended up, my antibodies still were going up. So that wasn't really the issue. So my doctor says, well, I've heard that going gluten-free is a way to go. Well, knowing that I go out to eat almost every single day, I would have rather her chopped off my left arm. No offense to anybody out there. I mean, none at all. But it was such an overwhelming thought to try and change absolutely everything you already did. And that was just the beginning of everything I was going to change. And so I took it on. I went to the store. I bought gluten-free. I ate different things. Luckily, a lot of the restaurants and places that I normally went had gluten-free bread or options. So that was fine. Did that for about 4 months. Antibodies kept going up. No change at all. I tried to do a liver detox, see if maybe that helped. That actually spiked my anxiety, spiked all of my issues there. I can add that as well. Along with my weird cold allergy, I have had generalized anxiety now for about 15 years. I've been taking Celexa for it for about 15 years. And that's just one of those things I figured was just part of my genetics and part of who I was. So didn't really consider anything, didn't really think it was going to be that big of a deal. So in July, I was told by one of my classmates, high school classmates, who was in Miami of all places, to check out a doctor that's in Phoenix. Okay, so I look out. I was kind of looking for a functional medicine doctor anyway, trying to find a different way to go about this thyroid stuff. I have other autoimmune issues in my family. So I knew that if I wasn't going to fix this, it was just going to perpetuate and get worse. And I didn't want that. So I knew I needed to do something. So at the end of July, I went to see Dr. Khan, I did my consultation. I went in to see him. I got all my tests done, did all that stuff. And I thought maybe we're absolutely going to know what's going on with this antibodies, what is causing it, what's happening. And I went in there and he explained to me the entire leaky gut diet, the gut repair diet and everything that was part of it, but he promised he could make things better. So we were looking at my cold allergy and all of the weirdness that went with that. I had some eczema on my hands and feet that were getting worse over the last year or so. My anxiety that I had forever, it got to a point where almost every night I had to take a Xanax, half a Xanax, just to fall asleep. We were looking at my menstrual cycle because that was all messed up. And so there were a lot of things that were on the list and on the docket of stuff that needed to kind of be taken care of. So on, I believe it was like July 28th or 29th of this year, I started my gut repair diet. I'm not going to lie, it was probably the worst experience that I've ever had with the absolute best outcome I could ever expect. Being that I was a fast food eating junkie, the idea of having no sugar, no carbs, nothing except for some meat and some veggies. And by the way, I had not tried most of these veggies in my life. I use the excuse of I don't like that, even though I had never tried it. So it was really an eye-opening experience. I've always liked fruit, but to only have 2 to 3 servings of fruit was very sad. So it was really a very big experience to go through this. Probably the first weekend was the hardest. I remember sitting on the couch, just shaking from lack of sugar. It takes a lot of willpower. However, within the first week of this change, of this gut repair, I was sleeping amazingly well. Within the first week of this gut repair, my cold allergy went from having a hive for over a day to having it gone within a half hour. Within the first month of this recovery, and within the first month, my anxiety is almost gone. I still do take my medicine. That is going to be a very, 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 very long process when I get to it after 15 years. You can't just stop it. But I don't need to take any additional medicine and any additional medication beyond that. My numbers are looking really good. My antibodies are still up, but I feel amazing. I was never one to go out and exercise. Like I said, I was genetically thin. I didn't feel like I had to. Now I exercise 4, 5, 6 times a week. I'll either go to the gym or I'll go on a walk with my boys, or I'll make sure to walk at work, whatever it is, to make sure that I am continually moving. My menstrual cycle's been better. It's not great yet. I've only been able to reintroduce a few foods. A couple of them I had reactions to, so I had to take them back off. But I can't even begin to explain how good I feel. And the knowledge that I will never go back to eating that way, not regularly. I may have a day where I'm out with someone and can have that food, but I will never go back to eating that way. Not only will it not taste good, it will make me feel bad. And I never, ever thought, and everyone's told me this before, food really is so good for you and it's healing. And it's like, yeah, whatever. It is. It is amazing to feel energy that I never thought I had. It is amazing that when 10 o'clock rolls around, I'm tired, I lay down and I am asleep. My husband is a snorer. So there are many, many nights that I could not fall asleep, couldn't stay asleep. I don't hear him anymore. I literally sleep from 10 o'clock until 6 o'clock and then I'm up. I don't have any caffeine anymore. Obviously, that's part of the diet. So I don't need anything to help me stay awake. I don't need to take ibuprofen for aches and pains. I very rarely have anything that hurts. And if I do, it's more of I used it too much at the gym or I walk too much. I know that this decision is hard. I know that this is a lot of money. But ultimately, the amount of money you'll save by having a better body is so worth it. The amount of willpower you're going to need to get through this is going to be a lot, but it is so worth it. And the tribe that we have that comes together to help you, it's been great. Our nutritionists are great, and it is really worth getting through the first few weeks. And the first few weeks are going to be hard, but you figure it out. You figure out what you need. For those of you who don't terribly hate vegetables like myself, you'll get there easier than me. I still hate them, but I do it. I make sure that I eat what I need to eat. But this is a good thing. And I have inspired a lot of people around me by doing this for myself, allowing them to understand how good it is to do well by your body. I had 38 years of eating like garbage. It's taken me 2 months. I'm not there. I've got probably the whole year before I feel really good and get to where I need to be. But in 60 days, I have felt better than I have ever felt in my life. And it is so worth the effort and all of the stuff that they're going to walk you through. So I hope you choose to go this route. I hope you find it in yourself to do it. And I hope and know that Dr. Khan and his staff will help you through it. And you will eventually feel great, just like I do. So good luck to you. Take care.